So you guys might not have known this, but I tried out the PlayStation VR yesterday, and it is super exciting. If you are from South Africa, you'll know that's probably going to be the cheapest, most accessible, and easiest headset VR that you can get in the country. And I'm chatting with Nicholas. He is the creative director from Japan Studios who has worked on and created the Playroom that comes free with the PlayStation VR. So you probably know way more about this than anybody in the industry. So there are a lot of concerns about VR, like the response rate, the refresh rates, and the consoles that I already have are they able to facilitate VR? Like, how has PlayStation VR dealt with those problems?
So for us, it's been very clear. Is that, well, we have the game has to run at 60 frames per second, and then the system actually doubles that. So we have something called the reprojection, which is something that happens at the system level that makes your game run 120 frames per second. Your game has to be at 60 frames per second, and we kind of, we have zero tolerance on that because we want the experience to be, perfect for every user. But that's one great thing about having a PS4 as being a system that is set, is that the experience is the same for everyone. You don't have any compatibility issues or anything like that.
So you're telling me that the PlayStation 4 that I have at home today is going to be able to run at 120 frames a second, straight out of the box if I buy one of the PlayStation VR?
If you run the PSVR on your current PS4, yes, you can do that. And all the games we're showing on the show, run on normal PS4s.
Yeah, there are a lot of games here, and actually some of the games that I was playing yesterday, aren't you? You guys obviously have a huge catalog coming out. How many games are there available?
There's over 50 games available between now and the end of the year. That's a lot. If you think about classic hardware launch, it's actually a lot, right?
Working on the Playroom has been very cool. What can we expect when we buy a PlayStation VR, having not spent any money on any other games?
Okay, so with the Playroom, we've got, the original Playroom was all about playing together. It was augmented reality, like families and kids and getting together. And we wanted to make the PS4 a very warm system from the beginning so that people, of course it's high tech, but it doesn't have to be scary. That was our kind of take. And this time we're doing exactly the same thing. So what we've done, we've developed something called separate screen. So if you have of course you have a TV screen in your living room because you have a PS4, you can also use that screen as a second display. So one person sees one world in VR, and then the other person can see a different point of view on the game. So then you can have versus game, co-op games. You can have 5 players playing together VR, which is when we began, the research. We never thought we'd end up here, right? We thought it's gonna be just like one guy in his, immersive world. But actually, no, you can also mix and match and have a party game in VR. So that's what Playroom VR is all about.
Just to get my head around this, that's a lot of resource power that the machine has to output, and it's able to do all of that?
Yes. So the way we actually first did it, we hacked something together using a PS Vita at the time. We used the PS Vita. We did a remote play to PS Vita and then TV out, just to see what it was like to have one guy in VR on PS4 and then one guy playing on on the TV. And then we thought, wow, the interactions are really, really cool. So then we went back to the engineers in Japan and we told them, look, we want that as part of the actual PSVR. We don't want to have to hack that. We don't want to have people using Vita at home. We want that from in the box. So they did it, and it's available. Now, of course, when you design your game now, you have to be careful because you're now rendering 3 screens, right? There's one for each eye inside the PSVR, and then another screen.
Yeah.
So of course you have to design your game with that in mind. But in our case, we've taken that. That we want to have that extra screen, so we've designed the game to be budgeted just right, so that he runs smoothly on both screens.
That's wild. And lastly, things that you can do with the PlayStation VR that are not games. What kind of offerings are PlayStation going to be doing with that?
So I'm not really well placed to know exactly the exact plans, but I've seen some pretty amazing movie demos. Obviously, 360. I've seen some pretty amazing music demos as well. Like in Japan, they have a karaoke, which is actually you're looking around and you're kind of inside that place. And so I think to be honest, that's just
VR karaoke.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one application of it, but. I think gaming is a great springboard for VR because because I think it's kind of it sells the concept of VR really easily. But I think it's just one entry point, and I think entertainment as a whole. Well, we already see so many companies jumping on, and I think that's really great. When we started, to be honest, I didn't expect it to be so big, and now I'm like, wow, we're in the heart of it. I'm so glad,
And we're gonna have this before the end of the year.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm so excited. I'm just so hyped because it's gonna be in my, like half the boxes in your lounge already. That's right. Oh man, I'm so hyped. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much.
Take care. All right.
Woo!